So Jamie, can you tell me about what you experienced on the loch with the other fellows?
For the time we capsized, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were out fishing, Derek, and the wind got up a bit, so not too bad, but we were just turning the boat, and the next thing we knew, the whole thing had capsized, and we were all hanging onto the boat. Quite frightening to begin with, but well, we calmed down a bit. The boat would be turning round and round in the water, and we were holding on. Well, I'd asked Hamish a few times, will the boat sink? And he said, no, the boat won't sink. So we were hoping it would just drift onto the shore. And after about 45-50 minutes, I'm just guessing, she decided to sink. And I'd been struggling with my jacket and the big jumper, trying to get my gear off. I'd cut my wellies off, and Sean, he started swimming first, and he got to the shore, and me and Hamish kicked away. And I don't know, I was swimming for about, 30 seconds, a minute maybe. I stopped for a rest, and that's when I just sank like a stone. I just went down, and at that time I was aware of what was going on, and I says, if I don't get up to the top again, I've got problems. So I managed to get up to the top, and I did a few more strokes with swimming, and I think I went down again. And the second time I went down, it was more serious. It was that's when the fear kicked in. Certainly there was no pain, and there was a funny kind of peace about it, but there was a fear. It was like there was no flashbacks, but it was like I was looking at myself, saying that. It's not a film, this is happening, you're in big trouble, and it was just a fear of knowing I was just about to die, and I couldn't do anything about it. But I don't know how I got up this time, but now Hamish, he was swimming. I think he was struggling a wee bit, but not too bad. Now he said that his feet hit the shore. Well, he touched the shore, and he turned round and he seen me, and I was floating head down on top of the water, and he managed to grab me and throw me towards the shore. Now I'm not aware of. But then when he lifted my head, that's when I started coming through. Now, if Hamish hadn't touched that stone, I think I would have been gone. I actually thought I was gone. He says when he lifted my head up, the colour of my face, it was a horrible colour, and he says my veins were protruding. He remembers that, but he got me to the shore, and I crawled up the shore and got my jacket off, and all I wanted to do was sleep, I was so tired, I didn't really know what was going on. So Hamish walked ahead, he says, how can we get help? And then the sun came out. It sort of perked me up a wee bit, and I managed to walk the 3.5 miles, and it was cold. Then we got down to Scaliscrow, and the chopper had already been called because they didn't know what condition I was in. But obviously it was bad enough to keep me in hospital. I had hypothermia. It was a frightening experience, Derek, to say the least.
So I think you were in the water for about an hour, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was frightening. Do you know how the boat capsized?
The wind had got up, and we were just turning the boat, and all I remember Hamish saying, get the pail, there's a bit of water coming, and it was that quick. It pulled the whole boat and then just flipped over. It 2-3 seconds and it had gone over.
There was a dog in the boat as well, eh?
There was a dog in the boat, oh yeah. And the dog got trapped underneath the boat. And there was a painfully horrible yelp, real fear. But Hamish managed to get him out and the dog just swam to the shore and we didn't see him until the following day. Well, he was sitting at the bags at the shore.
So it looks like Hamish saved your life, eh?
I would say he's responsible for me being here, although there's obviously greater powers that are working, because I don't know how I got up the second time. I don't remember. I just remember having the fear, but it was no pain, and I wouldn't say there was this flashback of your life. But funnily, I don't understand. There was no water in my lungs when they did the X-ray, so. But I've been told after that bodies are amazing. It can stop water getting in when you pass out in the water, but it's after that, once you're down again, it just opens up, and then that's, but you hear of people that drown when they're walking, because you've swallowed water, but luckily I had no water in my lungs, so I love to be thankful for that.
And when you were, after the boat capsized, did you say that you found yourself, what was it, sitting on the bottom or something, and you felt you were maybe drifting off or even drowning?
No. When the boat capsized first, no, it just capsized, and we were hanging onto the boat, and we were hanging onto the boat for 40 or 50 minutes.
But when you started feeling yourself maybe started to drown or something,
that's when we left the boat. Just to swim to the shore, when I went, after being swimming for, I don't know, maybe a minute, maybe, whatever it was, when I went down the first time, and I remember going down the first time and coming up, but it was the second time, that's when I knew I was finished. Well, I thought I was finished. I actually had said I can't physically get back up to the top, but somehow I did, and I don't know how, basically, but I do remember.
But you had kind of, I think you said something along the lines of that you'd kind of given up or something.
Yeah, I had nothing, no strength left in me.
Did you feel some drifting off?
I definitely was out, because it wasn't like I was seeing flashes, but I could see, I was like watching myself, and it was like in your head saying, this isn't a game anymore, this is real, it's happening, and basically you're finished. And then there was the fear, not pain, but fear, just fear of death, I suppose.
Yeah. So basically, if Hamish hadn't pulled you out, you had no strength, no ability to save yourself.
I would not have.
And at that time, I think you said you were sitting.
I was head down on top of the water. Like I said, I had come up again.
I see.
And I'm not sure, but I was head down, just floating on the top.
But I think Hamish had found you. Did he not take you from the bottom though? You'd sunk.
I don't think. No. He said he had turned and seen me going down twice.
Okay.
But he kind of turned and he said I was like, no, I wasn't. I was just sort of basically just on the top of the water, but everything was sort of just below it. My head was down, face down, and he grabbed me and he dragged me towards the shore, and that's when he lifted my head up, and he says I just went, caught the air, but I was definitely gone,
Okay, I've got Hamish Duncan here, and he's going to tell us what happened on the loch.
On the Friday the 23rd, myself, Jamie Duncan, my first cousin, and Sean Libby, a friend of ours, went out fishing. It was a beautiful night, and you would never believe what the focus was going to change so much. We went up to Langavat, we went out for an hour's fishing before we went to bed, We got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go out again. The loch was still flat, calm, beautiful. But after an hour the rain started coming and a wee breeze started coming. Anyway, we had been fishing for 4 or 5 hours and we were getting soaked. So by 9 o'clock we went back to the boathouse to just have a cup of tea and decide what we were going to do. We decided to pack it in and just head home. But since one of the boys was saying was snoring all night, we decided to have an hour's kip first. So we left the loch about half past 11. We should have about 100 yard walk to the small boat. The loch we were on is Loch Langavat, this one in the photo behind me. And we started coming down the other loch. It wasn't that windy, but it was gusty. And we came to the bottom of the loch. There's a bay there, the wind was channeling through it. And the wind moving across us. So we decided to go nose into the wind and go around the bay. So after about 20 or 30 yards, Sean started shouting, "Hamish, there's water coming over. There's water coming over the side." And I just thought it was just a spray, but then I looked at it, I could see colour in the water. So I moved my body weight over, to the gun out of the water. And I looked behind me and the gun, the side of the boat out of the water. And the whole stern, the back of the boat was under the water and within two, and we just flipped over straight away. So we're in the water, the three of us and the dog. And we just hung on to the boat. The other two were wanting to swim against the wind into the shore, but I said, no, the boat's going to drift, it's wind, it's a loch, it's going to go to the shore, so anyway. So we just hung on to the boat upside down, and we did that for about an hour, anyway. And in that time the poor dog was stuck under the boat, so we had to go and get her out. And I went under the boat and took the dog out. She was caught under one of the benches. And she swam on to the top of the boat, and you could see her head. She was going left, right, looking for land. And after about 5 minutes, she seen the closest point, and she just jumped and went for shore. She made shore, and we kept on drifting. But the boat started coming as we were hanging onto the one side. The weight was making the boat to come round onto us. And so it was getting a bit dangerous because it hit our heads and anything else. One of the boys was saying, he said to me, he was a Christian, is it okay if I pray, Hamish? I said, of course it's okay if you pray. So he started hanging onto the boat and his eyes closed and praying, and I said to him, Sean, please, when you're praying, do your eyes open in case the boat comes up and hits you. And he started, I can't pray with my eyes open. So it's a bit of light humour. It's funny, Sean initially thought he was going to drown until he grabbed a hold of the boat. But in no time did any of us, I think, after we spoke about that, really feel we were going to drown.
You mean after he prayed?
No, after we grabbed a hold of the boat, we came together and there was a calmness came upon us all. Nobody was panicking, and we just kept holding onto the boat and drifting across. But then all of a sudden she stopped moving, and well, we were about 70 to 80 yards from the shore. Well, we had to decide what we were going to do. There's only one thing we could do, and that was swim for it. Excuse me, get in there, get in. That's the dog. Thankfully the water was, well, it didn't feel that cold.
You can lift it up and we can see her.
I'll do that. Fine.
Yeah.
Right, there we are, this is the dog. Right, and you go down there, down. Well, go in your bed. The only thing now, she just playful. We decided we had to swim, so we threw off whatever wellies we had on, and we decided we made for it. And Sean used the boat to give himself a push because he was on the other side of it. Unfortunately for us, it pushed us back. So myself and Jamie were about 5 5 yards behind him, and we were starting swimming. I started swimming the crawl, and I just felt all the energy and all the just run out of me. And I said to myself, there's no way on earth I'm going to get to shore doing the crawl. So I just sort of treaded water with doing the breaststroke, slowly doing the breaststroke. And I felt myself moving forward quite, and the energy coming back to me. And it's, come here, sit. And I just felt the energy coming back to me, and I felt, for some reason I could go forever, but because I was feeling that confident. And about 15 yards from shore I heard Jamie shouting, "Hamish, I'm not going to make it." And I turned around, I couldn't see him. He started going under the water, bobbing up and down under the water. Well, at that moment something came into my head. It was nothing Christian. Jamie's my first cousin, and I had asked him to come out fishing with me. And I was saying to myself, there's no way I'm going home to tell his mother and my auntie that what happened. I lost him. So I started trying to turn around to thread water, to turn around to swim over to him and grab him. But as I thread water, my feet went down a bit and I felt the bottom. I thought it was a big stone I was standing on, but it actually was the bottom. And I was still up to my chest, high up my chest in the water. So I started running as fast as you could do in that depth of water over to Jamie. He was about 10 yards away at this time, and I got him and just pulled my hand into the water and pulled his back of his collar out of his face out of the water, a whole lot out of the water, and all I could hear was air and water and everything coming out of him. And I just kept his head up and dragged him to the shore. When we got near the shore, the stones were that sharp because we had no shoes on. We went on our knees because we couldn't walk on the stones because they were that sharp. But anyway, we got up onto the grass, and the first thing the three of us did, we huddled and we prayed and we gave thanks. But when afterwards I looked at Jamie, and I could see his face. It was grey, and every vein in his face was sticking out. And it gives a fright. But then as we stood up, the wind changed. It was still quite strong, but the cloud cleared and the sun came out, and it got a very warm wind, and it sort of helped warm us up and dry us out. But Jamie couldn't move, and he wasn't wanting to move. So eventually we got him to move 5 yards at a time, and he was falling. I need to rest, I need to sleep. So I was getting very worried about Jamie was secondary drowning because the amount of times he was under the water. So we decided, right, Sean, I says to Sean, because I know the way back and I know where to go to the lodge, I'll run ahead and get help, even get the helicopter out for him. And I says to Sean, just keep him awake. If you can get him to move, get him to move. So I ran, the Coast Guard told me it was 2.7 miles, barefooted, across the moor, just over half an hour. When I reached the road, I stopped the first car I came across. And I don't know who he was, and I hope he's watching. I hope he sees this. I asked him for his mobile phone to do a 999 call. He picked up his mobile phone and said there was no signal and drove away. So anyway, I jumped into James. I knew where Jamie had left the keys of his car, and I jumped into Jamie's car and I drove into Scalscrow Lodge, which is about 3/4 mile away. And I pulled up to the lodge and I asked, can I use the phone? The guy says, why? He says, come on, I'm not going to tell you twice. I just says, come in with me and you'll hear me telling the Coast Guards. So I went into the Coast Guards and all that, and they got the helicopter out. But the helicopter came for us to Scalscrow. Cree Mackenzie and Scalscrow went out with the quad into the moor, and they found the two boys and they took them in. So the helicopter picked us up at Scalscrow. Jamie was kept in hospital overnight. The two of us were the other two, myself and the other one, were fine. But it's hindsight. When you look back on things, you see things. You know, some people would say, I believe the Lord was with us on 2 or 3 occasions, and His hand touched us on 2 or 3 occasions there. Firstly was, we all came out of the boat. None of us hit the bottom and became unconscious. Secondly, when we came ashore, I started swimming ashore when Jamie started drowning, and when I started treading the water, the Lord put the bottom of the loch below my feet. I might have just been treading water 3 inches above that and I wouldn't know anything about it. And it's the Lord that gave me that under my feet. And again, when we came ashore, when I just said the wind changed, the sun came out to warm us up. That was the Lord's hand. Even it was that close for Jamie that afterwards he was saying to me when he was under the water that he just felt as he was in a drifting, no panic, nothing. He was just drifting away, nice and sleazy, because, well, his brain was just switching off and going. He was that close to death. For me, it's but others have said to me, if the Lord has been with you, you wouldn't have capsized. That wouldn't have happened to you. But then I told one person, go and look at the New Testament, and look when Christ was in the boat with the disciples. They were fear of drowning until they woke him up. So it can happen to any one of us, Christians or not. And so we have to be strong, we have to believe in it. But it's funny, the calmness that was over the 3 of us was something else. And that's, yes, I'm an experienced man. I've been fishing for years and doing survival courses and all that for the fishing. But there was an extra thing with us, and I believe there's a 4th man in the boat with us, and that's how the 3 of us made it ashore. It's like in the book of Daniel when they went into the furnace. There was a 4th man in the furnace with them, and to this day, I'm an elder in the church, and I believe my faith is very strong, but that has made it stronger.
The dog was under the boat for quite some time, wasn't she?
The dog was under the boat for about 20-25 minutes.
A bubble of air.
In an air pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny how people are in this world. You mentioned the dog, she comes over. But you know, the Coast Guard have a Facebook page, or somebody in the Coast Guard have a Facebook page, and they put onto it on that Saturday night that 3 men were airlifted to hospital and the dog was still missing. Mm-hmm. All the Facebook messages was asking. Nobody asked about the 3 of us on Facebook. They were all asking, was the dog okay? Had the dog been found?
Yeah.
So the dog was found. She was missing all night, the dog. Mm-hmm. And the Coast Guard went out looking for her on Saturday night, but it got dark to her, and they came back. They found some of her bags on the shore, so they put them up on the grass. So my cousin went out on a Sunday and looking for the dog, and the dog was lying beside my bag on top of the grass. So it's a good end story.
Aye.
We all walked away from it. We all got stronger.
And you could see, you clearly saw the hand of the Lord in it.
Oh, definitely.